$100 bills are cleaner than $1 bills. Yeah, they're laundered more often. Makes sense. They change hands a lot less and people are a lot more careful with a hundy in hand than they are will a single. Tune in next week to learn about Ferraris often cleaner than a Chevy. Yup, dollars have traces of cocaine and stripper ass. I mean, it's not wrong. You don't see $100 dollar bills used too often in daily life, and they wouldn't be circulating around as quickly. When have you ever seen a dirty $100 bill? Not when you think about how I earned them. Nebraskan ass pennies are the dirtiest. Washington has seen more ass than Benjamin. And my credit card is dirtier than both. You don't want to know where it's been. Cokehead common knowledge right here. It's interesting how we subconsciously associate cleaner bills with higher value. Perhaps it's a reminder of the importance of taking care of our possessions, no matter their worth. A vagina is the greatest engine on the planet. Still very high maintenance costs. It also accepts many different sized pistons. Sadly, the ECU is crap. Mine turned out to have trans issues, SUV. And you never want to be caught in a rental. You have to trade it in every few years for a newer model when it starts making this annoying nagging noise. Takes half your belongings when you get a new engine. Dude, you forgot the most important part. It can spit out another huge car, and still function normally within 6 weeks. It's also one of the most expensive engines on the planet, but only 1 horsepower. Until it's a stick shift. Not many miles to the gallon, though. The vehicle it charges is straight from hell though. They can really take a good pounding. A ship is always referred to as she because it costs so much to keep her in paint and powder. Chester W. Nimitz fad. For people who've been shot, what does it feel like? I was shot through the hand with a 9mm. It felt like a really hard high five that made my hand all tingling and then numb. There wasn't any pain for a long while, and when it did arrive, it was a deep aching. The recovery was the worst part. I was shot in Iraq 2004 through the arm. Large rifle rounds, it felt like getting hit with a hammer. Shock was instantaneous and it took a couple minutes for pain to set in. Crazy throbbing internal pain. It is crazy how much blood gets everywhere. How do you milk a snake? Musical notes. My milk snake brings all the boas to the yard. Musical notes. First you'll need a milk snake. Thanks all of you. Your comments have brought a tear to my eye and a smile to my face. Wishing you all a very happy and healthy holiday. Find its nipples. I just sent this to my friend. Lol lol. Thank you to you and your dad. Haha, good one. Sorry to hear about your pops. Keep these jokes written down and keep his memory alive for a long time. R.I.P. Dad, love your joke. Can someone explain it to me? Part of my remembrances for friends and family as their favorite jokes. I love it, keep that memory strong. This joke is welcome to live rent-free in my mind. I bet your dad was a great guy, I'll grab a drink. This one's to him. Cheers. You can pretty much milk anything that has nipples. I know because I grew up on a farm in Detroit. Humanity went from inventing the car to going to space in a single lifetime. My great-grandmother traveled cross-state by horse-drawn wagon in her childhood and lived to see us landing on the moon, flying in supersonic jets, and having computers and the internet in our homes. Development of fossil fuels and its effect on industrialization cannot be understated. Eisenhower attended West Point at a time when mounted cavalry tactics were still taught, and Civil War veterans attended his. Also saw 2 nuclear weapons dropped just days before he was inaugurated as POTUS. The first steam-powered road vehicle was in the 1700s and the first internal combustion engine land vehicle was early car was late 1800s. So you're correct, but interesting that other things came first that look and act like cars but aren't. My great-grandmother rode in a covered wagon and watched a man land on the moon. From inventing the automobile to driving one on the moon. I was gonna tell some dad jokes at the airport. Probably would've flew right over his head anyway. Sounds like the jokes didn't land. The jokes might not fly. I tried to sue the airline for losing my luggage, but I lost the case. Now that's how you really nail a dad joke takeoff. With bombs like that, you should expect a deep cavity search afterward. They hung mistletoe over the check-in counter. So I kissed my baggage goodbye. Those kinds of jokes don't fly around here. Sounds like your jokes are pretty plain. Did you think they would fly? The last time I was at the airport I was threatened by the lady at the check-in. She said, window or aisle? And I said, window or you'll what? They probably wouldn't take off. I keep running into problems when I loudly greet my friend Jack at airports. Why didn't you just wing it? You didn't get there early enough. If Die Hard is a Christmas movie, then this has to be a Christmas joke. Welcome to the party, pal. So you replied Fakrolfa that I hope, and is standing on his balcony in Moscow when it begins to rain. He says to his wife, looks like rain. She replies, no, that's sleet. Then it starts to pour. Rudolph looks at his wife and says, see? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. Sheesh, take my upvote? Smiley face, crying face. It's off. Bah. Take my upvote, you genius. Was this in Pearls Before Swine? Sounds like something from Stefan Pastis. Good one. Ulf isn't a Swedish name though. You're probably thinking of Ulf, which is a quite common name that is pronounced similar and means wolf in Old Swedish. Person facepalming. I'm happy I read this. Lol. What? Whoosh. Is this just fantics or what's going on here? It must be weird to die in your sleep. It's not that bad. Never heard anyone complain. I had open heart surgery a few years ago, the same kind that actor Bill Paxton had and died shortly after. If I hadn't woken up afterwards, I wouldn't have known anything about it. It wouldn't be weird, it would be nothing at all. We don't dream under anesthetic, do we? Last thing you remember? What exactly do you think happens when you die? Lol. I'd like to think it's like going under for surgery. They tell you to count backwards from 10, and before you get to 7, you're out. Then you wake up after the surgery. But if you didn't wake up, I can't think of a better way to go. It's like when you're asleep and don't remember your dreams. But forever. Sounds really peaceful. People with one leg are the easiest to shop for at this time of year. Anyone who criticizes this joke doesn't have a leg to stand on. I agree. I got my wife a new wooden leg for Christmas. It's not her main gift, more of a stocking stuffer. Sigh. Don't get them real estate. They don't want a lot for Christmas. Take them for a Christmas lunch at IHOP. Yeah, those folks are pushovers. I say shoo to you. Go on shoo. I always just get them a candy cane. This joke only has half the soul of a regular joke. They'll usually stump up for it too. What's the bigger shoe about it? They're the first ones to get legless at the Christmas party. I feel you. My cousin has a wooden leg with a real foot. Putin is woken up by one of his generals. Blah. What the hell is this comment section? None of this is because war is hell. No, actually, war is worse than hell. There are no innocents in hell. I weep for Palestinians, Jews, Ukrainians, Russians, all of the senseless loss of life. It shows the worst of us when the world needs the best of us. Till in 2020, a betta fish was able to victoriously complete Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire on live stream with a control system mapped to his tank. Over 4 months, he completed the game by defeating the final champion and even discovered a game bug along the way. Kind of. It was a team of 4 of them that took turns playing and somehow got to the end. The one fish that discovered the bug died a little while back. It said he would swap out multiple fish so they were leveling up Earl too. The very best, that no one ever was. The Pokemon games are so easy a fish can beat them, so it takes 3,100 hours of random inputs to beat the game? I'm surprised it ever gotten beaten. Seems suspicious that they didn't have help just traversing the map or getting out of menu screens. I mean, Michael Reeves' pet fish played with stocks. What's stopping another fish to play Pokemon? Till Kenneth Copeland, a Christian minister who believes in prosperity theology, is worth $750 million. Copeland has amassed significant wealth during his career and has referred to himself as a very wealthy man. In 2021, Copeland was claimed by some sources to be the wealthiest pastor in America, with a net worth of $750 million. He's a sweetheart. In 2010, he started a fund to help the Haiti earthquake victims, saying he would fly aid into the country on his personal plane. Then he took the money and upgraded his plane and his personal runway and airport facilities. You know, to make the whole flying in aid thing more efficient. Then he forgot to fly in any aid. Matthew 19:24. I'll say it again, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God. Still, Korean women in the 19th century who had sons would openly expose their breasts as a sign of pride. How did they go from MILFs walking around topless to banning internet pornography? All of those women look like they work 200-hour work weeks. Now this is a till. More images. There's a big discussion of it here. What a time to be alive. Look at my mom's awesome boobs. Speechless face. I'd where the male thing is coming from, because my mom always said it was just to feed babies. A hanbok jacket is already very short, so they would just omit the underdress like a slip. I don't know the English word for it, so their breasts could come easier to have titties already out and ready for the kiddos than to keep pulling them out each time the baby needs to eat. Still, PBS reported on a study which details which part of a human body you should eat first that provides the most nutritional value using 4 dead bodies. Ignore kidneys, pancreas, and teeth and aim for the butt muscles, thighs, and skin. The researcher found it difficult to eat bacon afterwards. Don't eat the teeth first? Now they tell me. The idea of chewing on someone else's teeth horrifies me more than any of the other things listed. I can't even handle a tiny piece of shell in my eggs. Is there even an animal in the wild that prefers to eat the teeth of animals they consume? Anywhere? The researcher found it difficult to eat bacon because he craved human skin instead. So, the same thing we eat from most animals? I don't think anyone's tucking into a dish of cow teeth. Bone marrow. You need the fat and nutrients. The protein isn't enough. Personally, I find the soul the tastiest part. I'll stick to Beyond Human. Till a depressed man built a secret room within his bedroom containing a homemade guillotine with a timer, took sleeping pills, and set the timer to kill himself without his father knowing what he was doing for months. He was successful. Finding the body of family member is hard enough, can't imagine the trauma of finding one that's been beheaded. Well, Merry Christmas, I guess. I don't condemn suicide, as I deal with ideation every day, but I really think it's inconsiderate to do this when you're living with another person. Although I think about it a lot, and I know that I don't really have that courage, I wouldn't do it living with other people. It's not fair to leave up the mess to them. This link goes into more details and answers some questions people are mentioning. Genius suicide, 3B loner built guillotine in bedroom killed. A0100662439. Till that 50 of vinyl record buyers in the US don't own a record player to play their vinyl on. Reminds me of almost all Pokemon card collectors have no idea how to play the game. Funny, I'm getting a record player for Christmas but have no vinyl to play on it. I've been buying records of my favorite bands at their shows. I don't have a record player. I just want to support. I wanted to add that I view the records as collectibles too. I like vinyl for all the art that gets packaged together. I love seeing the complete fruition of an era of an artist's work. I'm still going to listen to Spotify for the convenience. Gifts. I think people who collect and listen to vinyl have a higher propensity to be gifted vinyl. The fact that we even exist is insane. Why does anything exist? Try imagining the lack of existence itself. How strange to be anything at all. I'm pretty sure I exist. I'm not so sure you exist, though. Scientists have calculated that the chances of something so patently absurd actually existing are millions to one. But magicians have calculated that million to one chances crop up 9 times out of 10. Terry Pratchett, 100. I'm getting pretty old. I'm 66, and starting to think about mortality and the nature of the universe and all that stuff I thought about in college with friends while getting high. It seems so much more real now. I still can't get laid. Yeah, the Goldilocks zone for Earth blows my mind. Any closer to sun we burn and further we freeze. It is a spectacular existence. What fake thing that happens or is in the movies that pisses you off the most? Actors who do a scene where they're on the phone, but they clearly don't leave enough time between their lines for the imaginary person on the other end to have actually said anything. All air ducts are large enough for adult humans to crawl around in. And they are all spotlessly clean. Injuries are never get sucker punched on the face, stabbed, shot, or are in a car accident and just get up afterwards and start taking care of business. If you're not dead or unconscious, the average person is definitely not in a place to do any time productive after any of these. Programmers, hackers, etc. doing whatever random fuck they do. Guns just don't sound as loud as they really are. If you've never fired a gun without ear protection, you wouldn't believe how loud it is. Only movie that made guns sound even close to real is the movie Heat. Patient wakes up from coma, is immediately 100 lucid and carrying on detailed conversations. What do you call Napoleon's penis? Can't spell Napoleon without Pole. Using his ass at Waterloo, Napoleon blown apart. A good one, I must say. Cracker joke. Can you tell me Napoleon's nationality? Corsican. I don't call it at all. I don't even know its number. Short. My grandmother's address. Small. Mushroom. According to Stormy, Napoleon's middle name was Taurus. I don't get it. I heard that when he got an erection his penis would grab the nearest areola and tug it. He had a nipple and boner part. As long as you don't take his bone apart, this works. A French fry. What historic fact keeps you awake at night? The fire that destroyed the former royal castle Tre Kronor in Stockholm in 1697. The fire destroyed the state archives, wiping out about half a millennium of written sources on Swedish history. The Bronze Age collapse. Around 3,200 years ago, nearly all ancient civilizations in the eastern Mediterranean and Near East region were wiped out in a widespread event societal collapse that was likely sudden and violent and followed by the Greek Dark Ages, and nobody really knows what happened. It just blows my mind. Man went from the first flight in 1903 to landing on the moon Apollo 11 in 1969. That was a period of 66 years. That was 54 years ago. The people who lived when the Roman Empire fell didn't know that the Roman Empire was falling. Such a thing could only be seen and never know if we live in such times. What is a narcissist's favorite drink? A Mai Tai. A hard seltzer. Ooh, maybe you should have left that joke bottled up. Mineral water. If his name is Jack, how about a twist of Midori? A mimosa with Midori actually sounds pretty damn good right now. NGL lol. Ha. Love the creativity. Midori twist sounds deliciously hilarious. Smiley face. Freaks Spasprelande. Professor on creme de menthe. Shirley Temper. It's a tie between dog water and hot dog water. Their favorite drink. Your drink. which they swipe from right in front of you and gaslight you into thinking you're drinking their favorite drink, margaritas, welcome, mojito, penis, mimosa, mojito 2. What is the most inappropriate gift you've received from a family member? 2 G-strings in my stocking from my mother. I was 10. My mother-in-law got my brother-in-law a massager from Amazon for Christmas one year. Except the massager was actually a personal massager and she had no idea. She was mortified. A portable DVD player with a DVD still in the tray. That DVD was titled Foreskin Fuckers. I think you can guess the content of the DVD from the tradition to re-gift the DVD at our family white elephant every year. A bra and some cheap schnapps from I was fucked up. My dad was really angry. What seems to be universally hated on Reddit, but is actually popular in the real world? Staying together with your spouse after a minor inconvenience. Small talk. It's a good way to start getting to know someone because you can't get into deep stuff right away as that's most likely gonna make the other person uncomfortable. Also, most people just like being social, even if it's a surface level interaction. Emojis. Having a girlfriend. Video games. Most game subreddits, the community shits on the game. Although, the majority of the gamers for those games aren't on Reddit and actually enjoy the game. Nuance. Staying in your relationship. Popular stuff. Assassin's Creed, Apple, McDonald's, you name it. Reddit hates it and believes everyone does too, but these things are popular for a reason. Collective, conductive, constructive criticism. Children. What's something people say is good but is actually terrible? New Year's Eve in Times Square. Therapy apps, BetterHelp, etc. I see tons of ads for them, and a bunch of companies have been adding them to their benefits packages like an employee wellness thing. They sound great on. Everyone I've ever talked to who has used those apps, whether as a therapist or a client, has had an awful experience. Relationship advice on Reddit. Work as hard as you can. Always give 100. For God's sake, relax a little. My lord. Why yes, I am from Chicago. How did you know? The old days. Has never been any such thing as a benevolent corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Crumble. Clean beauty. Give me my preservatives. I'm not trying to throw my expensive serum out after a month or apply mold to my face. Realism in superhero movies. Turning the bass all the way up. Drake's music. Getting drunk until you black out.